This morning I was awoken by the sound of my nephew, 9 years of age, laughing in the living room. And I was pleasantly surprised to see him, as I haven't seen him since December, and he had a virtual reality headset on his face. And when he heard my footsteps, he got excited. He took off his VR headset and he said, Uncle Garrett, look at what Santa Claus got me for Christmas. And I said, oh boy, I've never seen one of those before. And he said, really? Put it on. So I did. And immediately my sensory integration was accompanied with the virtual landscape of a paradisical first-person realm where the colors were vibrant and there was plenty of fun and adventure to be explored. There was a castle in the horizon. There were dragons flying around in the air. And I was really taken aback by the amazement of being in the mundane reality of standing in my living room, and next thing you know, I've been teleported to this strange, amazing place. Then I took off the headset, and immediately I felt disappointed and almost nauseous, because going from that reality to this reality just like that was very disorientating. And I told him, as I put the headset back on his head, I said, wow, that's awesome. Thank you for sharing that with me. But to be honest with you guys, as a philosopher, this really fucked me up. And I've been in deep meditation ever since, contemplating, what if this reality is a first-person VR experience? But how can that be? The meaningfulness of my nephew's game is found in the joy and moreover fun that this open world game provides. But I thought to myself, if this was a first-person experience in a VR reality kind of a way, imagine what this game would do to some hypothetical extraterrestrial life that exists elsewhere, where you have these gray aliens that are running around in their world of flying saucers or what have you, and there is this VR experience where they can put on a headset and they can see things as we see them, through our eyes. And then he puts on the headset that pertains to the physical body called Garrett. And next thing you know, they're in this world where the graphics are shitty and the room is stale and musty. And they're just staring at a wall inside of an RV in somebody else's backyard. And then they're like, what the hell is this stupid place? And they start to walk around and explore. And they venture into the town and they see this concrete jungle with nothing but poisonous, consumeristic experiences where, at best, you can go and shove a cheeseburger and some McDonald's french fries down your throat with a Coke. And then they say to themselves, that's it? Yeah, no, that's not it. You also have an In-N-Out burger, you have a Burger King, you have a Taco Bell. You have boom, just nothing but fast food conglomerates. and grocery stores, and they say to themselves, well, this is fucking stupid. This is boring. What is the point to all of this, they say. And then they continue to explore this realm of ours through our first-person perspective, but not necessarily because they're enjoying the experience. They're just intrigued as to how pathetic everything is, and they want to keep watching because they're just in disbelief of how insufferable everything is. They're like, what the hell? Where's the nature? Where's the beautiful scenery? All I see is a bunch of corporate logos everywhere that pertain to some sort of a fast food conglomerate, which consists of poisonous food brought about through some animal that was tortured in a slaughterhouse somewhere. What the fuck is this? Oh, what's that? Oh, that's a gas station. It's called 7-Eleven. But don't worry, that's not the only one you can experience. We also have 7-Eleven, and we also have AM/PM, and they go, oh, okay. And they go inside the gas station, and it's like, huh, just a bunch of chocolate bars and energy drinks and cigarette packaging behind the counter. Yeah, that's a part of the experience. The experience is to have fun exploring your town for consumeristic food products that you can have a lot of fun with. That's the adventure, don't you see? Sugar, sodium, and soda pop. Don't you get it? Oh yeah, I guess so. So they go and they buy a bag of hot Cheetos and a Snickers bar and they eat it down. And then they're like, huh, after that McDonald's Big Mac combo and this candy bar and this bag of chips, my stomach kind of hurts. I kind of feel like shit. I kind of feel like going to bed. What was the significancy of that? Am I a better alien now that I've ingested this poison into my bloodstream? No. If you keep it up, you're going to get fatter and sicker. But that's what this game has to offer. This is a hedonistic whorehouse of the cheap pleasures of immediate gratification. Here, try a cigarette. Try a lottery scratcher. Well, what the fuck? They say. What the hell is this horrible place? Oh man, this is the best part of it. But you want to know the worst part is all of these cheap, hedonistic pleasures that pertain to the concrete jungle of the whorehouse of this reality. Well, all of these things cost money. These things don't just grow on trees. You got to go to work. And then next thing you know, they put on the work simulator headset. And next thing you know, they're on their hands and knees cleaning a toilet. Like, oh, whoa, this sucks. How long do I got to do this for? Well, only for the next 10 hours. Oh, you don't like this work-related experience? Here, take off this headset, I'll give you another experience. And then through somebody else's eyes, they're in a cubicle somewhere, typing away on a computer, trying to serve a cause that they don't even agree with for shit money. Like, oh god, this is boring. How do you... I mean, what's the purpose to this game? How do you beat the game? Oh, you don't beat the game. You basically just repeat the same level over and over and over just so the game can continue to function as a game. It's called survival. If you want to call it a game, then that's the game. What? Yep. Okay, you want another experience? And then there's just an infinite amount of realities where these beings can put themselves through our first-person perspective. Now imagine your job, whatever it is that you do, or whatever it is that I've done. And then they're looking through our eyes, doing this monotonous, trivial bullshit for 9 hours with the amount of money we receive to just barely have enough to survive. I mean, hell, wait till they find out that in this game, at least in California, it takes well over $2,000 to be able to survive when it comes to rent and bills and this, that, or the other. But all these jobs, for the most part, don't provide that much money. So you do this toilet cleaning and sweeping floors and having a fake smile on your face, selling people poison as a cashier, and then you don't even have enough money to be able to live in a studio apartment. You got to live in your childhood bedroom, and then you give most of your money to your parents for rent anyway. And they're like, I don't understand the significance of this game. There's nothing fun about it. There's no adventure, and there's no way you can beat the game and move on to higher levels. You're just stuck in this buffering Groundhog Day scenario where you're just repeating the work simulator every fucking day. Just for what? Just for the same level to start all over that you can't beat? Yes. How you win the game is you maintain the self-preservation of having food and having a place to take a shit and a bed to sleep in, and also to keep you warm from the elements. He would say, who is responsible for the manufacturing of such a stupid, meaningless game? They must be evil. Do they get off on this? And then we say, I don't know. Whoever designed this realm, it's certainly a mystery to us. The Gnostics refer to it as the demiurge. But other than inventing certain abstractions, we really don't know who's responsible for this. What is there to do? Well, what you do in this virtual reality called Earth, you don't really have a choice in. For example, you don't go to work because you want to. You do it because you have to. You don't eat because you want to. You eat because you have to. Everything in this reality is basically an obligatory necessity that you don't really have a choice in. And at best, you could live for the weekend, and then you can put on the bar VR headset, and then you could have the experience of getting drunk, maybe having a one-night stand with a woman, and you could wake up hungover and regret the night before and go back to work on Monday. Hey, how do you like this experience? This is the best this world has to offer. Here, check this out. And then they put on the headset, and then it's you or me or some loser somewhere fapping it to pornographic images on a screen. What? Yeah. But this is the lowest expression of this type of game. This is basically what this is a simulation of the sex act within the simulation. It's not the real deal. If you want the real deal, put on this headset. And then it shows you banging your wife in a doggy style position when her ass is on the edge of the bed. And then he's like, oh, okay. Yeah, that's pretty cool, right? Yeah, that's one thing that this world has to offer that's pretty decent. Yeah. Oh, and here's another thing that this world has to offer. And then you put it on, and it shows somebody making out and having sexual engagements in the back seat of a car, and they're doing it in a very loving way. And it's like, yeah, see, it's really a chemical lobotomy that just shoots all of these feel-good endorphins into your bloodstream. It's a drug, and it's called love. And it's called sex. And all the pleasures that provide. And then he's like, oh, wow. Yeah, I want to play this game. This is cool. I'm feeling up this woman's breast. I'm making out with her, and I feel these strong, loving emotions. This is great. Yeah, just keep playing that game. So he does. He continues to keep on that headset. Because remember, what these aliens are experiencing through us, they're also experiencing. And then he stays in this reality with these two lovebirds for a few months. And then it ends in heartbreak and arguments and fighting. And then he rage quits. He takes off the headset and he throws it on the ground. And he curls up into a ball. And he got so emotionally invested within that game that he just completely lost his mind, and he's crying, and he's never quite right because of it. It takes him months and months to be able to get back to his reality and ground himself in reason there. And then you say, yeah, that's the game. That's how it works. The pleasurable things are pleasurable at first, but they have a tendency to end very badly, where all of those positive emotions that you experience through that intelligent, sentient life form that we call human beings, all of that love, which was like a drug, intermittently gets completely cut off, and then the bloodstream is filled with a bunch of stress hormones and psychological torture because of the nature of the opposite sex. Here, check out this headset. This is the alimony headset. You like this? Yeah? Yeah, this is the headset of less than 50% custody. Do you like that headset? He's like, no, I want to go back to the headset where I was a teenager fingering old Sally in the back seat of the car. Well, if you want to have finger fucking Sally, you want to play that game, then you got to play these games too, because it goes right along with it. You can't have one without the other because it's all one game. And he says, well, how do you beat this game? You don't. You don't beat this game. The purpose was to suck you in with all of the feel-good hormones so you could bring life into the world. And then once you bring life into the world and you get married, we all know that the woman is never the same after you get married, and then you're stuck in this domestic situation as your VR experience, where you have children running around and screaming, you have your wife bitching in your ear, it ends in divorce, you got to pay alimony, you don't get to get full custody of the kids. That is the game. And then he says, oh my God, these video games fucking suck. What do we call this game? Well, I guess, for lack of a better word, we call it the human experience. It's labor for the sake of survival, for the sake of consumerism, and for the sake of sex and falling in love, and with all of the future tense torture that provides. And that's the purpose. The purpose is the game that we call the human experience itself. And if you want the human experience, then you gotta play it till the end. Because you basically, within this game that we call Earth, you go from one VR headset to another, to another, to another, to another, and none of them end well. And most of them are just torturous as far as the boredom that it induces is concerned. And then the alien says, you know what? Fuck your Earth VR headset. I want nothing to do with it. And then he just goes back to his flying saucer reality and says to himself, I am never doing that again. What a waste of time. What did I get out of that experience? And that's what we have to ask ourselves. What are we getting out of this human experience, and why would we consent to come here willingly? If we want to take our first-person perspective with our lifetime now, and our life thus far and soon to be, what is there that is an experience that is worthwhile enough to have taken us out of the bliss of complete nescience, of non-existence. To go from complete nescience to an experience like this seems absolutely meaningless, because there's really nothing that would pertain to evolution of consciousness, because it's the opposite. The more our consciousness is in this reality, with all of the disorientation, with all of the trauma, with all of the mind control, with all of the slavery, it does the opposite. We're not evolving consciously, we are devolving, and we get worse and worse by the day, not to mention throughout the incarnations. And the only thing to learn through suffering is that it fucking sucks and you want it to stop. That's the only lesson behind suffering. This idea that our soul comes here to learn lessons, when we know that this idea of evolution is an impossibility due to the fact that suffering actually makes the consciousness devolve rather than evolve. Because what good comes from suffering? What good comes from being stuck at a 9-to-5 slave job? What good comes from being in a domestic situation? Even if we are happy and we're just sitting in the living room with our feet up, drinking a beer with our loved one, even the best that this world has to offer, we have to ask ourselves, for one, is this necessary? For two, is my existence here really worth everything that it's provided me thus far and will provide me to come? And the answer most of the time is hell fucking no. We're just sitting in the living room enjoying the company of our partner because they just happen to not be bitching at us and pissing us off at that particular time. But things in this reality is like a pendulum swing, and everything is always fluctuating between two extremes. So when I put on that headset earlier this morning, I've been contemplating this all day. The world that this child provided was magical and revolutionary. But the world, if this reality is a VR headset, what it provides is obligatory slavery and consumeristic poison. Not to mention all of the suffering, where all of the so-called pleasures is really just a coping mechanism. That's why people who are depressed have eating disorders and they're overweight. That's why people who suffer from the mental health issues that this world provides, that's why they go for the pornography. That's why they go for being promiscuous. That's why they go for all of the things that is apparently so pleasurable in this world, is just to cope with all the nonsense. And then you have to ask yourself, is there not a snack bar in hell? I guarantee you there is. That's all the pleasures of this world is. It is nothing more than a snack bar in the bottomless pits of hell. Yes, the hell that we're in provides a brothel. It provides a snack bar. It provides a comfy bed and a nice fluffy pillow too. And all the while we realize that the screams of hell are not that of pain, but of pleasure. And it's all just to cope within this miserable experience that provides nothing of intrinsic spiritual value. Absolutely nothing. So, with that being said, whatever extraterrestrial life form is using my life as a headset experience, he or she, it rather, must be bored out of its fucking mind. Yeah, you like watching me eat peanut butter and jelly sandwiches and take shits and have emissions and working my slave job where I am a professional home mover, and I'm lifting all of these heavy pieces of furniture where the homeowners are yelling at me, "Don't go around that corner too sharp." And I say, "This is a really big fucking couch. This is a really narrow hallway. I'll try my best." And then I accidentally graze the fucking wall with the side of the couch. And he's like, no, put it down, put it down. Starts screaming at me and shit. Yeah, I'm back to that. That's my experience being a professional home mover. Where I get paid only enough money to pay a little bit of rent and have enough for groceries and a little bit of DoorDash, and those are my copes. Alcohol used to be my cope, but I can't play that game anymore because it killed a lot of brain cells and it fucked up my liver. And that's a fact. Yeah, that alien must be having a really fun time. And is that all this creature does all day in this game experience that he's having? He just sits in the RV, takes shits, eats food, busts nuts, works a slave job for shit money where people are screaming in his face all the time, wielding big-ass couches down narrow hallways? That is precisely true. How pathetic. What a sad life. What a sad existence. Not really, alien. You know why? Because there's plenty of snack bars in this hell. And there's plenty of whorehouses. Don't you see? What keeps me going is the copes of shots of dopamine that shoot into my bloodstream. Oh, there's a dopamine hit. I guess I can live to fight another day. Oh, there's a dopamine hit. Man, if it wasn't for these dopamine hits that occur intermittently throughout the day, man, I would have offed myself a long time ago. I just love these dopamine hits, man. And now my world has a lot less dopamine because it's just being underwhelmed. But then again, I would much rather be underwhelmed than overwhelmed. That's why I'm learning to embrace the depression. But man, when I was an alcoholic and I was a chain smoker, at least there were a lot of dopamine hits. But then you realize that when you play the pleasure game, you gotta put on the Hangover VR headset. And I'm done with that fucking game. I think I'd rather just be bored. Because, like I said, it's better to be understimulated than overstimulated. Because overstimulation brings stress, and I'm already stressed out enough with this stupid slave bullshit I gotta deal with as of recently. But yeah, that's... If my life was a VR experience, what you would see would be sad and pathetic. They would be saying to themselves, is there an uprising in this game where the slave takes retribution? Nope. Because if you do that, then you go to jail. You can't do that. There's no revolution as far as that's concerned. It's just seek pleasure, avoid pain, and do what you're told, or else there will be great punishments. How do you like that fucking game, huh? Whoop-de-doo, I'm having a gay old time. How about you?